And welcome to Trigger Point Research Setups. We're going to talk about Sanderson Farms here quickly today. And I want to show you something interesting. We're going to be looking at a weekly chart, as you see in front of you. And Sanderson Farms has had a gorgeous run, just an absolutely terrific run from back in October of last year all the way to where we are today. And actually you can see this very nice, very well-defined line of the lows that are connecting all the way up. And then it is now in an area of question. What we have now is an area that we're looking at consolidation. The consolidation really has a range on the weekly of about 64 and change to about 72. And important in this is that you want to note how the radar, which is our colored indicator that shows the density of the volume distribution at price over that period. So this is a pretty long period. What you're looking at here is a period of about, let's call it 6-7 months here, and we're saying that there is a significant amount of support at the 6480 number, and at the same time, when you look below that, there is very little support at all. As a matter of fact, you can see that the support really comes into play somewhere down in the 50 range. Now, is it going to actually break down, or are we going to see a bounce move up? That's the big question here. But again, I want to share with you that if you see the volume distribution that is lacking, and that's indicated by a purple and blue color, that's really the biggest concern here. And as this stock is in fact consolidating in, we need to look at these things a little bit closer. Let's take a look at the daily now, and on the daily we can see at the same time there is that same level of support. Now in fact, if we zoom out a little bit, we could see that there has been a series of highs that have been continually broken down, and that's obviously noted by the areas that we saw that big move higher and then it could move down. But at the same time, you're seeing a series of higher lows at the same time, and that all came to a halt somewhere around the beginning of September, and that all of a sudden changed the dynamic. We saw that tremendous move down, and now we're seeing a sideways move inside of the 67 through the 64 box. Now the whole point here is that what we really want to know is where the break is going to happen if it happens. If we're going to break down, what's the risk, what's the reward, and if we're going to move higher, what should we be looking for? Now looking at this chart, what you can see here is, and very simply, I'm going to take off the altimeter, and I'm just going to show you just the radars, which again are the volume market profile distributions that we are looking at. And what you see here is that below the line of about 64, we'll call it, and we'll kind of demarcate that just simply with a straight line like that, you can see that there is no volume distribution that's significant. We have nothing really underneath the last several months that shows us that there will be any kind of holding and support if it does in fact break. Now the question is, again, will it break? Well, really here what we're finding is that there is a good amount of resistance, in fact, that gets into play from a few of the radars back. And right here we're really talking about this area from June all the way through the next level through August, and really we have to get through that area about 66 through about the high of 66 and a half possibly before we can see some upward motion on this. So what we want to do here is really wait and see what the break is going to happen and where it's going to be favored. Right now the trend has changed from previous, and it is moving into a direction that looks like it wants to move lower. There's no question about that. And you can see, again, we'll clean this up a little bit, and we'll show you just simply the algo that we're looking at, and that is the altimeter, which gives us a very succinct look at where the volume and the potential points of importance are here. And when you're seeing that, if we just outline this right here, about 65, there is some really nice support going all the way back to the mark over in June, but then there wasn't anything significant. We're also finding that there is a blending of our lower portion of key support as well as our most active area. So that's why you only see one particular horizontal line. So when we're looking at this on the trigger point research side, and if there is a potential for alert, we would be very much looking for the downside somewhere around the 63 to about maybe even 61. and there is some choppiness in there. The upside play probably looks pretty good, up to about 67.5. So if this does hold and bounce, this could be a nice bounce play to the upside, playing inside the consolidation zone, and that's what we'll be looking for, because really what we're seeing here is the potential for buyers to step in and move it, and the downside is only about $2 and the upside is about $3.5. Maybe could break out above that up to about 70. If you want, you can find out more about Trigger Point Research by going over to triggerpointresearch.com. Get a 14-day free trial, and you get the pro package with that with no strings attached. Hope you take care of that, and make sure you get a subscription trial. You'll like what you have to find out.